Alright, good morning guys. So let's get started. So let's talk about what we have covered so far, and then we will proceed with today's agenda. We left over from creating set, so we'll continue there. But what we have done so far is we have seen how to connect two different database, and then once you connect to the database, how you create the join between the tables in the database, and then subsequently how you can uh, pull the columns into the dimension and measure, and then you can even rearrange if you feel whatever Tableau has been identified. If you see the columns and measures does not seems good, then you can rearrange it. You can drag and drop the measure into the dimension field and dimension into the measure. So that's how you have to interchange during the design. Then secondly, what we have seen is how to edit the properties. So as a developer, okay, hold on. Okay, so is it better now? All right. So basically, what I'm talking is how you can create the connection, then how you can rearrange the members in the table within that dimension and measure, and then subsequently we have seen how to create the properties, how to change the properties. So as a developer, you need to know how different kind of properties, default properties, can be changed for a measure or for a dimension. For a dimension member, right? So we have seen, like, we got to know, like, what is the difference between dimension and measure. So how you will identify what can be a dimension, what can be a measure. All right. So once we create the database connection, so then we save the database connection so that we reuse it again and again when we develop another worksheet for the same data source. So that's where we did the connection to the database. So okay, let's ask one quick question. So what is the extension for data source? What is the extension for Tableau data source? So when you create a connection, then we save that data source. For example, we saved it as my superstore. So what is the extension of Tableau data source? No answers? Perfect. So it's .tds, Tableau data source. I expect you guys to be involved. You have to participate so that I will feel like you are getting what I'm like explaining you guys. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, right? So the data source is .tds. So who can tell me what is the extension for workbook? Tableau workbook. No, it's not Tableau.
WB.
No, it's not TWB. So yeah, TWB. Yeah, what you typed in, I think it was TDW or something. Yeah, so it's TWB. And who can tell me what is the extension of Tableau packaged workbook? Just message. No, there is not TPCAK. You just remember, I'm using very generic term. So always the packaged one will be followed by X. Hey, who is joining with Ramesh ID? Then please put yourself on mute, because you are joining as an organizer. I cannot control your. You cannot mute you. Please keep yourself on mute.
Muted.
unmuted.
All right. So TWBX. So same way, like there is a data source packaged. So what is the extension of packaged data source? So same way, like if it is a data source is TDS, then TDSX. So that will be a packaged data source. So it's a very generic naming convention. You can easily remember it. So what is the Tableau data source and what is the Tableau packaged data source? What is Tableau workbook? What is Tableau packaged workbook? So that's how your extension goes. So you just need to know that, because many people will ask that question. Okay, so once you create that connection, okay, so then once you create the connection, then how you will explore the data. So we have seen how you change the properties of the measures, the dollar symbols, the negative sign, and the precisions, how many decimal points you want to see the numbers, and then we have seen how to apply the filter. Then we applied the sorting. So sort descending, sort ascending. Then when you apply the filter, then when we apply that, you have the options whether you want to give them the radio button, whether you want to give them the checkbox, or you want to give them the select all. So that kind of options you can customize. So you are not writing any programs, but you are doing through these out-of-box Tableau menu options. All right. Then the very important one we generally do in the real-time scenario is visual groupings. So how you group. So different kind of product category can be grouped into one part of your reporting requirement. So nobody wants to look at the line level or item level, but they want to group it into a certain meaningful name so that they can keep track of the sales, profit, expenses, revenue, whatnot. So that's why we do visual grouping. So you can change that in the visualization, but your backend data still remains same. So it does not change anything in the backend table, whereas it changes into the visualization. Okay, then we have seen how to create the plots, how to create the scatter plots. All right, so we created that plots as well, and now we will go for how to create a set. Okay, so what is set? So what is set? Who can tell me what is set? A set is the collection of items of similar product types, similar properties. Okay, so let's say you want to see top 10 student in a class. So that's, you are saying set of 10 students. So all the students having same properties, but you want to see the top 10 student in having more than 70% mark, or you want to see bottom 10 or bottom 5 student or bottom 100 products with sales greater than 5,000. So that kind of stuff. So when you have the sales, or when you are measuring something, profit or revenue, then you can say I want to see the top 10 or I want to see the bottom 10. So that is called set. So how to create that set? Okay, so when you write that in the PL SQL statement, we write through SQL commands saying, okay, when you have the row number or you count it, first you sort it, then after you sort it, you arrange it by the amount or by the profit value or dollar amount, and then you pick the top 10. So there is a top function, you use that in the SQL query. Same way, when you go to Tableau dashboard, we'll go over that. You will see how the menu options are embedded, where you can use that and get the top 10 or bottom 10 or top 100 or bottom 100 product lines with sales and profit. Okay, and then we will go another one, very important one, which is heat map. What is heat map and how that is used in your visualization, how to create a heat map. So many people ask what is the heat map and how you have to use the heat map. Okay, so we'll go over that, and then we will continue for the today's session. These two are left over from yesterday, how to create sets and how to create heat map, and then subsequently we'll go for the day 3. Okay, so let me go over a couple of slides, what we have covered and what we have left over, then we can directly go to the Tableau desktop. So here we have connected to the data source. We moved few members that we have done. Exploring, we have explored how to create the visualization, how to create filters, how to create sortings. Connect to workbook, connect to data source. Then we have selected few items with shift key or control key. Then we added into the groups. So we created different groups, and then rest of the items we put it into the other groups. So that's how we created the groups. Then we created the hierarchy. So within the department you have product category, within the product category you have the items. So when you pull that hierarchy into in the rows or columns, then you can click on that plus icon. It will automatically expand and give you the total grouping of that hierarchy. Okay, so we'll go for these are the DDL, DML, DCL statements. These are the basic statements which we write in PL/SQL commands to execute some data and to extract some data out of Oracle or any kind of relational database. So here we are not writing anything, whereas all the menus and commands are available through the Tableau desktop, and we are just leveraging those menu options to create the visualization. Okay, so join, same way, left join, right join, cross join, and inner join. So where condition having these are the basic commands you just need to know, because those are the very frequently used statements we'll be using in Tableau. So you are not writing it, but still you need to know what where clause means, what sort by, what order by, what math functions. So there are lots of math functions, mathematical functions or string functions we need to write in the PL/SQL, but here they have already given that. Say you want to make a lowercase to a uppercase, so there is a upper function. You want to count, there is a count function. You want to take first two character or last two character, there is a substring function. So all these mathematical functions are already here, so you just need to click it and select which member you want to take the substring. It will do it for you. So that's how the Tableau is making life easier both for the developer as well as for the end users. Alright, so then we'll go over these table calculations. What, like when you create a tabular report, so what kind of table calculations you can do, like row total, column total, right? So basically when we create a table in Excel or anywhere, we just see how I can calculate the row total, how I can calculate the column total, or how I can calculate the subtotal. So those are the stuff we can do through the tabular report that we will go over today. Okay, so here there is one important is, now we will spend more time on the date data type. So when you have different kind of dates, year, month, period, like quarter, so all these kind of date parameters, so we need to more focus on that one, because every organization they do reports, they do report by month, by year, or year over year reporting, or quarter over quarter reporting. What is quarter over quarter? Current quarter, current year, and same quarter on the previous year. So that is quarter over quarter from with the prior year. Or you want to see Q1 versus Q2, Q2 versus Q3. That is quarter over quarter. So you are doing different kind of comparison. So that means you need the time period, right? So that is the date. So that is very important for any kind of reporting. So that's why we will spend more time how different kind of dates work, like play a bigger role in your visualization creation. So we'll convert that dates to years, quarters, months, like that. Then we will look at the reports. Okay. All right. So that's that we will cover from the yesterday's leftover, and then for today we will spend most of the time on the dates, date formatting, how to create the custom dates, how to create the date filters, and all those things, and finally we'll go with the geographical mapping. Okay, so I'm not going through in detail of this descriptive of each and every areas, whereas we will spend more time on the tool itself. That's where you will understand how these date parameters works. So before that, let's get started on the creating set. All right. So okay. Yeah. So creating set, over creating heat map, then we will spend time more on the table calculation. We'll just see few things, and after that we'll go for date filter, custom date, quarter, year, month, etc. Alright, so we'll go over that. Let me open Tableau desktop. So that's a good thing. So whatever you opened very recently, that will be there in the workbook list. So you can just clear your workbook list, or you just say I just want to directly open that one where I left yesterday. So you can do that as well. All right. So if you clear it everything, so automatically everything will be cleared. But if you want to retain that and you just want to reopen from that Tableau cache memory, then you can do that as well. Alright, so here if you look at this, so these are all the extensions. So what is Tableau workbook? So what is Tableau packaged workbook? So TWB workbook. So you can easily remember it if you just focus on my wordings. So Tableau workbook, WB comes from work and book. Okay, so Tableau packaged workbook is followed by X. Then same way if you are going with Tableau bookmark, so TBM. So T for Tableau and BM is from bookmark. So it's very easy. If somebody asks, like, you should easily identify from the question itself. Data source is TDS, but packaged data source is TDSX. Okay. So when it comes to Tableau extract, so TDE. So what is difference between data source and extract? So when you create one connection and you build one worksheet, or you build one package, you can save it as a Tableau data extract. So in that way you do not need to reconnect again to the source, which you can use that packaged workbook for your future development, or for a user who wants to view that through Tableau Reader. You can just send it them to that whole package. So there your data source will become as a Tableau data extract. We'll connect one, you'll see how that says Tableau data extract. So that's just like a data source, but it is an extract rather than directly pointing to the backend database. Okay, so there are different extensions. So like just .txt, .xls, same way the Tableau objects has different extensions. So you just need to know that. All right. Okay, let's go open this one so that we will. Okay, so here we left yesterday, like how to create the scatter plot. So when we created the scatter map, we have profits, we have sales, and then we plot the items or region code, or anything like postal code or area code. You can put it on the detail, so automatically it will do the plotting for you. Okay, so now you have the dimensions, you have the measures, you have the data. So every time when I talk about this, just keep it in your mind. Always you are going to differentiate between dimension and measure. So do not confuse yourself what can be a dimension, what can be a measure. That is very important. Throughout our training session, throughout all the visualization development, you will be hearing one thing: dimension and measure. And then apart from that, rest of the things are drag and drop. But you just need to know what is dimension, what is measure, is that correctly defined as a dimension or not. Alright, so here there is right side, there is one option called show me. So if you click on show me, it will give you the options for all the charts. Okay, so this is a Tableau report, this is your heat map, so this is your bar chart, horizontal bar chart, vertical bar chart, bubble chart, line chart. So there are lots of options here through this show me option. So if you click on this one again, so it will go away. Okay, so these are the mark card, page, and filter. Okay, so whatever you apply filter, you can apply that to this particular worksheet, or you can apply that same filter to multiple worksheet. Like whatever worksheet suppose you are going to create 10 worksheet, and in one dashboard you are going to embed all the 10 worksheet, and you want this filter to be a common between all the 10, then you can apply that to all worksheet as well. That we will see when we will build the dashboard. Okay, so now we have seen that how to create a filter. You just drag a region, drop it here in the filter section, then it will ask you to pick the value. So this value, whatever you are seeing here, it's directly coming from the table columns. So there is a region column in the table which has this 4 value, unique or distinct value. So it is pulling that. Either you pick it from here, or you say use all, or you can use a custom value. When you say custom value, so suppose I want to give some, I know the values, so I want to give some hard coding here. So you can do that custom value as well. So you can enter whatever is like America, and then you say, so you see when you enter something and it does not match with the database, so it says it does not match. So if you know, see I tried EMEA, so it found a EMEA value in that column in the backend database, so it pulled that one. Alright, so either you go with the selected value, or you go custom value, or you use all. Alright, let's go back here. Now let's say this is the dimension. I want to create the set. Okay, right click on the item, so you will see that we saw that yesterday we create groups, create hierarchy, create groups. Now you click on that create set. So before that, let's say create calculated field. So if you click on create calculated field, the window I was showing you guys on the PowerPoint slide deck, so it's the same window. So you can see that here all the fields will show up here. Suppose you want to create a first name and last name, you want to create an email ID. Okay, so you know last name dot first name @itamerica.com, for example, say. So in that case, so you have first name and last name, you do not have an email ID column in this table. Then how you will derive it? So what you have to do is you have to create a computed column called email. So in that computed column, you can select the first name, then you can select the last name, and you can do a concatenation function. There is a concat string function. Okay, yeah, you can take left, you can find, you can contains, let me country name, find left function, length, you can find lower, L trim, max. So there are lots of right trim, so you can just trim it and start with, and you can, when you click on plus, so there are two string automatically get concatenated. So if you have a numeric value, that plus will behave as addition. So you remember that. So when you have the plus first name plus last name, so automatically it will concatenate the first and last. But if you have a numeric value in that particular column, then it will become as a addition operator. The same way you can do lots of stuff here through this mathematical function. We'll come over that. We'll create certain calculations. So that's how your out of box features, where you can use these functions to derive a computed column. Okay, so now let's right click here and say create set. Okay, so when you have create set, so you can give a set name. So let's say I will give top selling products. Okay, so top selling products. Then here if you see, there is one called general condition, one is called condition, and one is called top. So now we will go with the top selling product. So you click on the top tab, and after that you will see by field, because I said top selling products, right? So I need to see the top 100 items or top 20 items having the highest sell. So you will see by field. So when you say by field, so you have top here, and then you see how many value you want, top 10, top 100. So there is an option to create a parameter. We can create a parameter. We'll go over that, but the first one is very simple one. I said top 100, you type in 100, or you just say go to this field and you select the cells. Okay, so here in the mathematical functions you will see sum, average, counts, lots of stuff here. So let's say sum of cells. So you want the top 100 highest sell products. Okay, so in that way you say top selling products. Click OK. Okay, so that will give you only the 100 top selling products. So now let's say you want to create the bottom. How to create the bottom set? Right click here, create set again. Let's say list profitable products. Okay, so list profitable products, and now you give go to the top and go to this field and say the bottom. So you want to bottom 100 and category, go to profit, sum of the profit. Alright, so that's how we created the set. So you have and when you click on save, so automatically this Excel, this worksheet will be saved. So you can create a different kind of like whichever set you want to create, you can create by category, by items, by department, and by item number. So however you want, you can create that. All right. So now let's go to so if you look at this, let me go here. So if you look at this, so you have two sets created. So one is top selling product and one is least profitable product. Okay, so if you use these two, so it will only show you top selling product. So if you drag it and drop it here, so you see only the product which are let me you pull that profit here, then you say top selling product. All right, so this will give you the whole like all products, and out of all the products you have only the 100 products with the highest sell. So there are different way of analyzing the data, the top selling products out of in and out. So that will give you the how many total products, out of total products how many you are seeing the top 100. So you can easily plot it on which area, on which item having that highest sell. Okay, so that's about how to create the set. So now let's go for heat map. Okay, so what we can do is let me connect to a data source. Okay, I think we can do one thing. Let's create a new one and go and new. Connect to data. My Tableau repository, and then we have data source. Let me close this session. So let's connect to the My Superstore. Okay, there is an order table, and in this database, so we'll create a heat map using that one. Okay, so this is a blank worksheet. So in this worksheet, suppose you give the name as heat map, and then after that what we can do is, let's go here and we can pull this sub-region to this filter. Use all. And then let's say we have cells, so keep that cells on the size. Okay, so this size is, you can increase, you can decrease, so depending on the size. If you click on that, just click on that, so if you increase it, so automatically your visualization will increase. So that is the size. Okay, label is for text, so suppose you want to give some text, you can even put it on label. Okay, and now let's say I will take the profit into the color. So sub-region, let me take it to the column. So we have now Canada, Central, East, West and South, because I applied everything. But if you go here and say I want to only Canada, Central, East and South, so you can do that as well. Okay, so that is gone. See that? And then if you want to show that as a show quick filter, so right side it will show that filter option to you. Okay, so here you can check whichever you want. So now you don't want Canada, for example, you can take it out, Canada. Okay, and now let's say I will take the category to the row. Okay, so now you have different product category, and you have different region: Central, East, South and West. So this is called heat map. Okay, so remember this. So this heat map is very much used, many companies use that, and this is more meaningful for the business. You might not need to understand what this square box is, but heat map is always goes with this square box. So if you click on that icon, then it will show you which category, which region, how much profit and how much sell. Okay, so that's how your heat map is designed. So if you want to exclude it, so suppose you go here and then you click on exclude, so automatically that will be hidden. So exclude is nothing but it will be hidden. Okay, alright, so let's say you want, again you can delete it and you can drag and drop, so that will bring your data there. You want to keep only, then you just say keep only. You say exclude, then it will be excluded. Okay, so that's how your hiding of rows happens. So if you take it out from here, so everything will come back. If you say exclusion, it will come back. So when you apply something in the exclusion, basically it will be applied to your filter. So that means you are not changing anything in the backend table, whereas you are applying a filter on your visualization. So everything get added into your filter. Okay, so here as we saw yesterday, let's say you have this context filter. When you click on this, that is customized. You can say show all value, you take it out, or you say I want to give the radio button single value, or single value list, so that becomes your list box. So you can say Canada and Central and East and West, so like that you can do that as well. So always it will show you the only one region. Okay, so if you want to give them the multiple options, then you have to click on this icon, then you have to go to multiple value list. So that means it will give the multiple value, and there is a slider as well. So you just need to understand what is meaningful for that particular visualization. So if you have that multiple, then you click on that multiple, automatically that will get added here. Right, so like Tableau does everything for you. You just need to know how you need to instruct Tableau to create your visualization. All right, so that's about your heat map, how to create the heat maps. Okay.
Sorry, I do have a small question. Hello.
Yes. Can you please
I do have a.
can you type in your message?
Yeah, I'm unable to type it over there.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
So, does the Tableau connect to the map automatically based on the data what we are providing in column and rows, or how does it work?
When you say map, what do you mean by map? Like
Yeah,
Tableau?
because it has many maps as you are telling, like in Show Me.
Correct.
So my question is like when I'm creating some data, giving some data like what you said, like now heat map.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the data what I'm giving in column and rows, does it automatically take that map, or how does it work?
Yeah, so there are different things. So you have to choose it. So if you go here, you can go here and you say bar chart. So if you make it bar, so automatically it will become bar chart. But in this case, you see, you need to know what are the parameters you are giving, what is the rows and columns. So when you create a bar chart, you cannot have a multiple column value in your rows or columns, right? So if you go and say here it is line chart, so this will create a line chart, but this line chart doesn't make sense, but you have to choose it. So here if I go here and if I change it to square, so that will be your heat map. So square is your heat map. Okay, so there are different maps here, bar, line, you can
Okay.
change whatever you want to change. Either you change it from here or you go to show me and you can change it here as well. So if you change it here, the chart will also change. Okay, so
Okay.
you can
Okay.
go with a different option to change that mapping basically. All right, so that's about your heat map, and let's go for the dates, how to create dates. Okay, let's open one. There'll be one workbook, let me see that. Okay, because this will be the same exercise every time you will create a connection to any data source, then you have to pull whatever rows and columns you want. So better to save every time. Whenever you practice, save it to your different functionality. You can save it to a different worksheet, so anytime you want to revisit that, play around with all the menu options, change the maps, change the charts, then you will get to know each and every options available here. This mark section is very important. You have color, size, text, detail and tooltip. So these 5 are very much used. So if you want to change anything here, if you change it to bar, then your default become bar chart. So if you say automatic, so Tableau will pick the value automatically. So if you want to change it to area chart or square chart, you can do that accordingly. All right. Okay. Okay. So once we go here, then let's take cells from here to row. Then we have here, there will be order date. Okay, so let's say order date to column. So what it does, so by default it pull you by the year total. So what is the year total cell? So it says 2010, 11, 12 and 13. So if you click on this plus, so it will give you within the year, suppose you have the quarter, then within the quarter suppose you have the month. So if you click on that, so automatically it creates, but your reports will keep growing, right? So you need to know, and again within the month there will be day. So accordingly your chart will be derived, and then you can change whatever chart you want by going to this. So automatically what Tableau does, by looking at your rows and columns, it identify what will be the automatic chart like is applicable for this type of selection. Then you can change it with your requirement, but you need to understand whatever chart you are creating, does it make sense with that kind of rows and column combination or not. But there is a good thing is Tableau itself identify what will be your recommended chart for this kind of selection. Okay, so I just opened a blank worksheet and then I drag rows and order date here. Automatically it picks it is a line chart. Okay, so now let's see, we will go to this column and then you right click here. So you will see all the options related to the date type. So when you have a date type column, the Tableau itself identify this is a date type. So it will give you all the options here like year, quarter, month, day. So lots of options, but everything is day type. So now you have here, say you want to show your year as 2011 or 2010, you can do that. So suppose I will select here as month. So that means it shows me by month. So you see that here. So that's how it will show you by month. So now let's say I'll go with month and year. So if you select that, so it will select month and then subsequent years. And let me go here. I'll say month, and then from mark card I'll say bar chart. So now it will give you the bar chart. So for each and every month how much sell. So y-axis is having sell and x-axis is having month, and then from this chart they can easily derive which month is having highest sell. So you can have that tooltip here and you can change it as well. So if you click on this one tooltip and you can say month of the order date or sales, or you can say month and sales. So in that way you can say that. So these are the functions, you can change it if you want. This is, every function has to be within the left less than and greater than symbol, so you have to put it within that bracket, then it will be capturing that value from your selected value in the visualization. So whatever value you have, it is a parameter. Basically when you are passing a parameter, this is the label and this is the parameter. So you are saying sum of cells and it is coming sum of cells. So if you change it sum to average here, it will automatically make that average. Okay, so automatically it picks whatever value has been selected, but still you have the options where you can change that. Alright, this is a very simple math for this date. So you went here and then you selected whichever you want. So by default it was year, and if you change it to years, then it says 20, 10, 11, 12 and 13. But if you want to visualize by quarter, you can say that by Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or you want to do by month, then it will become the 12 months of that of a year. Okay, so now let's go to the second tab and we'll, let's say I will drag the cells to the row, and same way let's drag order date to the column, and now let's click on this. So month 2011. Okay, so now this is how your month and year, and then if you want to change it to any kind of chart, you can do that as well. Alright, so we will go here now. I will see how to apply filters on the date parameters. Okay, so you can open on the worksheet. Okay, so in this case, so now we have connected to Superstore, we have dimensions and we have measures. So now let's drag, suppose, country. I'll drag it to country and region to the detail. So you see that there is another good feature. So when you talked about country or region, so automatically it creates a geo mapping. So this is called geo mapping. So geographically Tableau automatically identified and it select the longitude and latitude. So for geo mapping, the two important selection is longitude and latitude. Many people ask that question. So for a geo mapping, what will be in your row and what will be in your column? So by default, these two comes through Tableau. So it is latitude and longitude. When you drag anything related to country, state, region, automatically Tableau identify it will be a geo map, geographical mapping. So you can do that through this longitude and latitude. So you don't need to do anything, just drag and drop country and region. So automatically it will brings that map here. Okay, so now let's say I will put this cells in the color, so it will be geographical color coding. So in which region and which country this cells, so in that way it will be highlighting in a different color. So it says United States, the cells is this much. Then you keep cursor here, it says China, so automatically that select for you. So you can select particular area. So in that area, if you say I want to select it, so it will say India, how much is the cells. Okay, so wherever you click, so I'm just selecting that. So if I select here, so wherever you highlight, so it will show you how is the profit in that particular area. Okay, so you have cells, you have country, and so let me go with the measure and we will say average cell. Okay, so that's the average cell. Now we will apply the filter of by order date. So drag the order date and apply the filter. Okay, so if you look at this, so when we the previous demonstration, we saw that how you create by month, by year, or by quarter different kind of charts. So here when you apply the order date into the filter, it will give you the same kind of options here, whether you want to filter by year or by quarter or by month, how you want to apply the filter. So let's say I select years, click on next, then you will see all the years in the data file. So if the table has the data for 10, 11, 12 and 13, then you will see only those 4 distinct years in this list box. Okay, so you can say I want to say 11, 12 and 13, so you can select that, or you can click on the custom value. If you know which value you want, you can say custom value. Okay, as I selected here already 3 values, then automatically your custom value will show 3. If you don't have anything, you can just type in here, it will automatically search for you. So you click on 2010, but if I said 2015, 2016, so you can add all the value here, and then there is a small icon coming here, you can say delete, you can delete here. So this value you can keep adding, or you can just select here, and then that will apply that filter condition for you. Okay, so now let's say right click here, show quick filter. Alright, so in that show quick filter, if you say only 10 or all or none, so if you change that, automatically it will bring you only for that particular year. Alright, so it's very simple, but you need to know your requirement basically. So how your business requirement says, like whether they want the filter to be by year or the filters to be by month. Okay, so you need to know that. Okay, so now let's say you have month, so you can select that month range as well. So you can give the range of dates, from which date to which date you want to apply the filter. So you can select a start date and you can give an end date, so they can slide it automatically. They will see for that particular range, or that particular range of dates in that particular month. They can look at the sales as well. Alright, so let's say we'll go with order date here to the filter. One year, we'll create a discrete of the months. Okay, use all, apply. Okay, so now again create another instance of that. So when you have two filter conditions, so that become your discrete. Okay, so discrete months. So let's go with the month. So we will see year and month combination, so that's why we need this. So now let's say use all, apply, click OK. So quick filter, okay. So now you have two filters on the same parameter. So one is year, one is month, because this order date, the first one you are pulling year, so you cannot pull the month and year there itself, right? So what you can do is, so you can give year and month here, so you can check everything like January, and then you select here from 2010, so automatically it will bring you the month and year for that particular one. Right, so that's a you can rearrange it. That's another beauty of Tableau. So you can place it anywhere you want, and when you design a dashboard, you can rearrange it and to fit it into different size, so automatically it will fit to your screen size rather than going here and there in the screen. Okay, so you have different kind of resolution when you create a dashboard. We'll go over that towards end of our session when we'll build the dashboard, but rearranging those objects within your dashboard is very important to make it better visualization. Right, and you can rename anything. So wherever you say date filter, so you give a meaningful name, or you say sales by years, sales by country and region. So you can give a meaningful name to the worksheet so that it will be easily understandable why this worksheet, why this has been built. Okay, so now another one is, if you right click here in this worksheet tab, you have lots of options here: copy, paste, rename, duplicate, then color. So you can give a different color to this tab, so that if you say I'll give blue, so you see that the tab become blue. So you can do that kind of coloring here, red, yellow, purple, or whatever colors, and make a unique collection of worksheet with the same color tab, so that when you pull it into the dashboard, the same visualization will be there. So if you are doing a sales versus profit report, you can say sales will be all this blue and profit will be all in yellow. So whatever color coding you want to maintain, just maintain the uniqueness so that your visualization will not look bad. Alright, so that's about how to create the date filter. So we'll take a break and then we'll come back and we'll continue again on the date, how to create custom dates. So we talked about how to create the date and how to apply the date filter and how to change the maps for different kind of date formats, whether you are looking at the year or yearly cell, or you are looking at the monthly cell, and how year and month can be applied as two filter for the same instance. For the same column, you are creating two instances of the filter. So that's where we saw here how to do that in this geo mapping. Okay, so then we'll go for the custom dates, how to create a custom date altogether, that we will talk about after the break. Let's take 5-minute break. Alright, so let's get started. So we talked about the dates, how to apply the date filters, how to create the discrete date filters, like combination of month and year. You can do the same thing for month, year and quarter. So sometimes they say we will select a year, we'll select a quarter, then we'll select a month, and you want to see the data. So in that way you can create a discrete date filter for year, quarter and month. So that will give you the options to filter your data when you are looking for a huge amount of data enterprise-wise and the worldwide. Then you need to apply multiple filters. So you just need to know how to create that kind of filters. Okay. So now let's go for another one for creating a custom dates. So we'll see how to create custom dates. Alright, so this is similar. We have connected to the Mind Superstore. We have the rows, the cells in the row, and order to date and the month in the column. Okay, so now we will create one custom date. So now go here and right click on this order date. So that is an order date field, and then you right click here. There will be one called create custom date. The same way you create groups, create set. So you just need to understand which properties is relevant for which column. So if you say I want to create a calculated field from the order date, you can do that, but you need to understand your requirement. Is that make sense for you to create a calculated column for order date or not? So if it is, then you create it. So whatever you create, it will be added into your dimension or measure list. So like one member will be extra in your dimension or measure that as a new member name. So whatever you are creating is for the visualization perspective for your requirement. It's not something you are creating in the backend table. Okay, everything is get stored in the Tableau repository itself. So now go here and right click on the order date and say create custom date. So this window came, and you can give a name what you want to this one. So let's say order date for continuous quarter, something like that, or yeah. Then in this detail field, let's say exact date, or you have to year, or you have quarter, or you have month. So whatever you want, you can select that, and then you have a date value. So click on OK. So now you will see that one new member got created. So that's called quarter. One is called quarter date for continuous quarter. Okay, so now let me drag and drop it on top of this. So that got replaced because when you drag and drop it on top of one selected member, so automatically it will replace that member. So now you see that 2010 Q2, Q3, Q4, 2010 Q2, 2010 Q4, same 21 Q2 and 21 Q4. So you will see that the computed column got created from the order date. So but in the order date, if you look at this, right click, you have different kind of format here. Change data type, you can change it to only date, or you can change it to date time, or you can convert it to a string type as well. So there is a default properties here. You can add a comment, you can add color, you can add shape. So whatever you want, you can add a date format. So sometimes if you are creating a report for Asia Pacific, say you are creating a report for India, so those India regional manager, they look at the dates, for example in DDMMYY, but in US all the regional managers look at the reports in MMDDYY. So in that format you can change whatever format you want to put it in your visualization. So in that way you are not changing anything in the source, but everything you are controlling in your front end from your visualization standpoint, and all these are out of box. You are not writing any code to control these functionalities or properties. Alright, so let's go for another one. In the sheet 2, the same way, you have the order date, sum of cell. This is the line chart. Let me go with the order date field, right click, create another custom date. So that one was the continuous quarter. Now I'll say it will be discrete quarter. The way we created the continuous filter and discrete filters, same way here you have continuous quarter we created as a computed date field, and then we will create one called discrete quarter. Okay, so let's go with the date field, the date value. Then select your quarter. Then date value was for the continuous one, so now you said date partial. So in the date partial, so then what you can do is go here, and this is the discrete quarter, right? Drag and drop it on top of it. Oops, supposed to. Hold on, let me drag that, drop it here, change it to say a month. Now let's drag this one. Alright, so now you have that discrete quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. When you say continuous, so it will give you every year and quarter combinations. So if you look at the first tab, so you can see that here. So this is 2010 Q2, 2011 Q2, 2012 Q2. So all the year and quarter combination. It is continuous, but here discrete means particularly for 1 year. It will show you all the Q1 to Q4. Okay, so that's how we created the date stater. So you need to know lots of date features here. So right click here and then go to default properties. You will find lots of options. You can sort it. You can say fiscal year start. So if you say by default the fiscal year start is January, so many company what they do, the calendar year is always January to December, but the fiscal year change from company to company. So some company publish their result from March, April to March. So in that case, or March to February. So some company has November to October. So in that case, your fiscal year and your calendar year does not match. So calendar year always start from January to December, whereas fiscal year depends on the company how they have defined their fiscal years when they publish their Q1 result. So if it is November to October, then January they will be publishing the Q1 result to Wall Street. Q2, April will be their Q2. So in that way, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 will be defined. Those months will be summed together for Q1. If it says the fiscal year is from March to February, so when it's March, April, May, that will sum together to the Q1. So June, July, August will be your Q2. So in that way, March to February, those fiscal year and fiscal quarter will be defined accordingly. So you need to know that, so that the reports what you built, it will pull your data accordingly. It will aggregate the data for respective month for that particular quarters. Alright, so now let's say we'll talk about the gap mapping. So there is another one. Let me open another worksheet. work package to workbook. So how you want to do a gap analysis, so that is called gap analysis. So when you want to do gap analysis, so you need to know what are the gaps in your data. Okay, so if you see here, this is a day of date and weekends, weekday of the dates, and then you have the cells. So we saw about year, we saw about quarter, we saw about month. Now this is one level ahead. So you have week and day. So you have within the week you have working day, non-working day, right? So you have weekdays, you have weekends. So in the weekdays, how much sell? So they know like weekdays there might be low sell, but if they want to specifically look for weekdays, they can do that. So if you select here more options, so here you have the weekday, the option is already there. You can track hour, minute and second. So if your data is captured in that level, then you can track the reports in that way. Take example of Apple. Every hour when they launch iPhone, they keep track of every hour how much back order they have, how much they have sold, how much in the pipeline. So that kind of stuff to analyze the data to enhance their manufacturing and production. To know that, they need to look at the reports every minute, every hour. The top executive will always keep their eyes on their sales. So in that case, the data captured is by hour, by minute, by second, and your report also needs to be refreshed that frequently to pull the live data from backend database to your dashboard. Okay. All right. So let's say you have this. You have days of data, and then here you have weekdays of data. So let me go to sheet 2. What I'm going to do is there is a sales here. Let me sales to row. And here I'll go and I'll change it to day. Okay, so by day all the way 1 to 28, you can see here this one. So 1 to 28, this is a tabular report, and the second one we created a line chart. So line chart from day 1 to day 28 for the sales. So here there is something called show missing value. This is also important. So sometimes we look at the missing value. So let's say missing value. So that means it will show you where the cell is missing. So in that way, that will be your weekends. Okay. So say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7 is missing. Then from 8. So it's all the way what are the gaps in the data? Okay. Where is the sales gap? So you go here to the date parameter. Then you select the show missing. But if you don't show that, then automatically it will be continuous line chart, so you will not see the gaps. Okay. So let's say we can go here. There will be format. Let's say format. Okay. So here if you see that there is a special value is called null. So when you have text, when there is no data, so you can enter any value you want to display here. You say that show default value, whatever is the default, I want to show that. So here you say show missing value in the date, and here you say for okay, go here and show the default value. So you can hide the connected lines, you can create a break line, or you can show the default value. So if you change it to hide the connected line, so you can see that your graph will change. So if you say hide the break line, so these are the break lines which you can hide, so which is nothing but the data gap. So however you want to change your report, and according to your requirement, you can specifically go to this row and select that dimension member or the measures, and then you select it what you want to do, or how the formatting you want, what is the font you want. So you can change the font as well. So if you want to change the font, you can change that. Then if you want alignment, you want to grand total, so lots of other options. Those are very frequently used like normal Word, Excel options. But basically the functionality you need to know. If it is special values, if it is a null value, then you can enter that null value here, and you can say hide the break line or hide the connected line, or you can say show the default value. So this is the default. So that means you see that from here to here this is 0. So the cell is and row 5 and 6th, 5th and 6th day, the cell is 0. So that's why it is at the bottom line. Okay, but when you change that to the break lines, so automatically it says how that happens till 1 to 4, and then 5th and 6th are no cells, then again it starts from the 7th. Right, so that's about how to create how to do a gap analysis, how to do the gap in the data for the reports. Okay, so here when you let me show you. So when you go to a next tab, suppose you already have a workbook, or you want to import it. So there is something called import workbook. So if you click on import workbook, so here you have the option, either you want to import a workbook or you want to import a workbook, packaged workbook. So in the packaged workbook, what it will have? It will have all the workbooks, as well as it will have the database connection. Okay, so now you see packaged workbook, then automatically it will bring you the packaged workbook. Okay, let's go for a geographical mapping. We already saw that during the date custom date creation and date filter, but let's see. So now you have that you have the geographical mapping. So suppose you have a database for the Olympic match, and you have different medal like owned by different sportsmen in different countries. So now you want to create a geographical mapping, which country own how much medals, that kind of stuff. So then how you will do that? So it's not specific to this, any kind of database. Whenever it talk about country, state, region, city, so it's more represent to your geography. So if you have done any kind of other application like Hyperion, we do dimension called geography, because most of the company, they keep track of their sales, they keep track of their expenses, they keep track of their revenues by geo. So that is the geography. So that's why Tableau has this feature of creating a geographical mapping. So for geographical mapping, I told there are two important measures. So one is longitude, one is latitude. You have to just, you connect it here, don't do anything. If you just drag the latitude, if you drag the longitude, oops, just wait, and you have the latitude, then it will create that map for you. So then once you put the measure, age or medal count or anything, then automatically it will give you the different color coding. So if you say medal count, you can place it here, and then you can oops, okay. So then you drag the country. So I want to mark the country by medal count. Okay, so now once you drag the country, then it will highlight, it will point out that country in this geographical mapping. Okay, so it says United States, the medal count is 79. It says Canada, the medal count is 25. So when it says Brazil, and the medal count is 5. So whatever data you have in the backend database, it's just pulling it from there, right? It's not doing anything outside of that data, whatever available in the database. But on top of it, if you want to create a different kind of custom fields, or you want to create custom calculations, you have all the opportunity, all the options available through Tableau, where you can create that kind of options. But remember, for geo mapping, you need two key measures. One is longitude and latitude. Longitude should be in the column, latitude to be in the row. Automatically Tableau will identify the map for you, and then after that, when you drag the countries, then automatically it will highlight those countries in the particular geographical map. Okay, so here if you see that there is one called one unknown, so that means there is a null value. You see that there is a null value in that, there is no information about that country. So there is a medal, but in the database there is no information about that medal, which country owned that medal, or it could not able to trace it out, because either there is a data issue. Sometimes what happens, if your database there is a spelling mistake. So if one character is missed, then it will not able to identify, because Tableau, what it does, it match. Suppose in India, so there is a country called India. In like, if you have a spelling mistake in your data, so what happens is Tableau will not automatically identify that in the map, because whatever the standard geographical map, those information has been captured out of box through Tableau. So if your country name is not really exist, or there is a spelling mistake and that country does not match to the geographical country, then it will not able to identify that. Okay, so let's say there is a one unknown. So you click on that, it says it is unknown, you click on that, then it will ask you to edit the location. Okay, so now you can click on that edit location. So it says the name is says Taipei, so which is unrecognized, so it could not able to recognize this country. Okay, yeah, so it could not recognize this. So now you click on this, say this is nothing but the Taiwan. Okay, so the data, whatever data you have, it says this one, but what the matching country is Taiwan, so it does not able to recognize this value whatever you have in your data. So it says one is unknown. So now if you click on OK, so now that will be mapped, so there will be no unknown error for your report. So that's how Tableau automatically validate your data. That is another good feature, where it will validate your data and look at the backend database table and then match with what the country in the geographical map. If it does not match, it will show you there is an unknown country. Okay, so you can change that, and it will give you that valid location. So it will give you that option as well from the maps. Okay, so this one is geo mapping. All right. This is your gap report, gap analysis. Okay, so let's go for another one that is called field map. Okay, so okay, so let's say this is field map. So for your practice, what you can do, you can create Excel, multiple Excel with certain amount of data, and then you try to play around through Tableau desktop. Connect to that data source. You can keep everything in your local machine. You do not need to install Oracle or any relational database. Just have everything in the Excel, and then I can show you that how the data sits. So let's go here, and I have some data. Okay. So here I have all the data, right? So I have Access database, I have Excel. So say we are now playing with this Summer Olympic. So if you click on this one, let me show you that. So you can create your own data to build dashboards, so that you don't need to depend on any kind of relational database installation configuration. Okay. And that's basically same, whatever you can do through Excel. If the same information available in the relational table, only the connection information is different, right? So it will be, in place of Excel, it will be Oracle. Okay, so now you see that here. So you have columns: country, event, name, sex, gender, like sports, age, and then what type of metal: bronze, gold, and silver. So in that way, what happens is the data is there, so you just need to drag and drop and build your report. Okay, so yeah, you can save it in your local machine. That is another good thing, and then you can yeah, that's what I'm doing. So if you go here, if you want to select a specific worksheet or workbook, you are saying import workbook. So if you want to go here, and if you have any workbook here, it will show you, or if you have any packaged workbook, you can open that. So you can select okay, I didn't get that question. What you were asking? Are the difficult? What's the difficulties here? So you are just building a worksheet and saving it as a workbook, and then you just reuse it. So if you are making a packaged workbook, that is a collection of worksheet. So if you have multiple worksheet in one workbook, then you are having multiple worksheet. So if you want to individually use one worksheet, you save it as an individual workbook, and then you just reuse it. So
no, can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Yeah, my question is like, how do we select the specific workbook for which graph I am doing? Like, are these workbooks or packages by default provided by the Tableau, or it is predominantly created?
This is created for the training purpose. Okay, so if I create a connection every time to the database, drag a table and select rows and columns, that will be a tedious process. So that's why
Unmuted.
Workbook created only for the training purpose. Okay, so you can create n number of work package. You can create this does not comes out of box from Tableau. This is for your practice.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do have a small question related to workbook and packages. Coming to the real time, what you're talking about the package in the sense like when we get the data from the other teams or business user, you mean to say when the bulk of data is containing in the package, it will be saved it as a package, and only when some data like one Excel sheet is available, then it will be saved it as a workbook?
It is nothing coming from business. So this workbook and this packaged workbook, everything is created by a developer. Okay, when you are developing something, so when you create a first time, just completely forget about the packaged workbook. What happens when you connect to a desktop? So when you connect to a desktop, there is nothing at that point of time. You created the connection. Can please somebody keep on mute? When you are not speaking, please keep yourself on mute. Okay, so what I'm saying is when you connect to the desktop, there is no worksheet, there is no workbook available at that point of time. So you established a connection to the data source, then you pull the data out of the data source by creating a data source and saved it into your machine. So after you establish the connection, now you are building the worksheet. Okay, so the one workbook contain multiple worksheet. Okay, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. So you created those visualization, you build the visualization in respective worksheet. Okay, either it is a tabular report, or it is a graphical or pie chart or bar chart, or it is a geographical mapping. You created according to your requirement into multiple worksheet in a workbook. Okay, so book is collection of multiple sheet. Then you are going to save that. So when you save it, it becomes a workbook, TWB. Either you save it as a TWB or you save it as a TWBX, which is a packaged workbook. So when we save it as TWB and when we save it as packaged workbook, that's two different things. So when you say I want to just save it as TWB, then it will be saving those worksheet belongs to that workbook. Okay, and whatever data is there showing in that visualization, it will be only remains those data. But when you say packaged workbook, what happens? It save the workbook as well as it save the data source belongs to that workbook. Okay, so it is not limiting you only for the data what is already you use that in the visualization. It will also take the data source connection what you created to build that workbook. Okay, so the packaged workbook is a combination of data source and the workbook, and only the workbook is the collection of the worksheet. Okay, so then you publish it. When it is become a packaged workbook, then you can share it across the other working group, or a user who has only reader or Tableau reader who wants to just analyze the data, look here and there. So it's this TWBX and TWB is all developed by you. It's not coming from business. Okay, so it's all how you save your file. So that's why I'm trying to import, these are all worksheet what I have created, because you have to use that for your training purpose, but there is nothing, these are not coming out of box from Tableau. Okay, to analyze each and every feature, you need to practice, you need to develop this workbook or work package by your own. Okay, to do that you need a database connection, you need data. So that data I was showing you guys, you can create some sample amount of data in the Excel. So once you create that sample amount of data, or you extract from Oracle, bring it to Excel file, then you play around it, build all your reports on top of those Excel files, and then you can save that workbook as a TWB, or you can create a packaged workbook which will be collection of workbook and the TDS, the data source. Okay, hope that answers your question. So now so that's why now let's go over here the field map. So what I was saying is, so you see that I'm just importing a packaged workbook, means I have saved that workbook with the data source. So it has a different data source. So this is connected to sales data source, which is a Excel file. This is connecting to a Tableau Olympic data source. So there is a different data set, right? So wherever I am connecting, I'm just importing that as a workbook, packaged workbook. So it has both the information. Say this is the field map. Okay, let's say latitude to the row, longitude to the column. Here the country to detail. Then let's say medal count, we can drag it on top of the colors. Okay, so now you see that this is a field map, so automatically it fills that area. So if you look at this Republic of China is 53 medal count, this section in this has completely filled. Okay, so according to your color coding, so it will say which is having this is United States, having the highest number of medal count, so it is a deep in color. You can see that 79. So automatically you will see little faded in color depending on the number of medals it won, but it will completely fill that country in the geographical map. Okay, and you can always select. So there is one map called field map. Okay, so this is a different type of maps, and this is your heat map, this is your field map, this is your line bar chart, line chart. So all these maps which comes out of box. You are not building a map or chart by your own. Everything is there. You just need to know which map is needed for your business requirement, for your project. You just need to use it. Okay, field map means it will fill that country in the globe, in the geographical mapping, so with a different color. So if you place that in the this one, then you can change it. So you double click on this mark card and you can say edit color. So in place of this color, this is automatic color, right? So if you want to select different, you can do that as well. So say this is the default color, so a red and green combination. So you can say apply, so automatically that area will be replaced with a different color. So however you want, you can do that. So you can change the tooltip as well. So the country, say country name, and total medal count, something like that. So once you click on OK, now if you keep the cursor, so it says country name and total medal count is 53. Okay, so if you want to visualize this in the full screen mode, so there is an option here. So just presentation mode, you click on this, you will know how this map will looks like when you do a presentation or when you publish that in the dashboard. So you click on this, so now you see that. So this is how your map looks like. So now you can zoom in and zoom out. This is the out of box feature. So you can zoom in, zoom out. So you can increase, and you can say so there are lots of out of box, so you are not doing anything except. And now you can see that here the seat 1, seat 2, seat 3, seat 4. So that's pretty much how you look at any kind of website. You go for different tab, right? So when you are building a dashboard, it will be collection of worksheet. So you can say seat 1, seat 2, seat 3, seat 4, and whatever color coding you will give to this. Let's say I will give this one as okay. So if you go here, go to color, okay. So now if you go to the presentation mode, so the way exactly you are giving the color there, you will show that this is the tabular report, this is the gap report, and then this is the geo mapping, and then this is your field map. Okay, so you can zoom out. Yep. And then if you click on top of your, like you keep your mouse cursor on top of it, it will show you how much medal count, what is the country name, and those information. Alright, so that's how and here you see there is one unknown. So if you go here and you can click on that one, you can click on edit location, the same one, so the one we created in the previous slide. So the data, you have the data wrong, so that's why it is not able to recognize that. So say this is Taiwan, and now click on OK, and that is gone. So it looks good. So now suppose now I created this collection of although I pulled it from different packaged workbook, and I want to save this whole worksheet into a different name. So I can do that. So you go here, either you click here save, or you just go file and save as. Okay, so now you have the option. So whether you want to save it as a TWB or you want to save it as a TWBX. For example, if I go here and I say I will save it as a test, let's say training day 3. Okay, so now I kept it in this folder. Now go to the next worksheet and you try to import that. So when you go here, import workbook, and I saved it as a packaged workbook, so you go with the training trending day 3. This is how it came, right? So you built a dashboard, you built a workbook, and you save it. So that's nothing. These are all built by you. It's not coming out of box. So but the extension will be depending on your save as format. If you are saving at TWB, then it will be TWB. If you are saving it as TWBX, then it will be TWBX. So now if you click on open, see that all the worksheet belongs to worksheet belongs to that packaged workbook. Show up again, as already the same name exists, so it says the duplicate of each one. Okay, so that's pretty easy, but you need to know how you save it. So once you save it, as you save it as a packaged workbook, so it has saved the worksheet including the corresponding data source connectivity. So now you can even build your own visualization on top of it. Okay, so that's the basic difference between the workbook and packaged workbook, and the data source connectivity in the packaged workbook. All right, so I think that's pretty much for today, and tomorrow again we will continue on the calculation. So we will create lots of computed fields, lots of calculations, and subsequently we will continue with other different kind of maps and charts.
1 second. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, actually I have missed yesterday class. Can you provide the recording of that?
You just talk to Ramesh, and I have shared every day's recording to with him, so he can send it across. Okay.
Okay, I have to ask Ramesh. Okay.
Yeah. You just need to talk to him, or you just send him an email. Whatever recording I'm doing, I'm just uploading that into the share drive which Ramesh has, so he can share it across.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.